everybody. Welcome to our weekly sexual wellness. I'm Amber Taylor.
I am Vicki Gower.
And we're excited to talk to you today about our topic of foreplay.
Foreplay is all play. Yes, ma'am.
Like, this is such an important topic. I feel like so many people skip this, and especially when you've been in a longer term relationship. You just kind of get used to each other and you just keep going.
100%. I think it's very interesting how foreplay is that thing that it in itself says before.
Right?
But when?
But why do we leave it out?
Yeah. Or we leave it out, or we think that that little bit at the beginning part is going to be good enough for foreplay. And it's so not good enough. So I always like to talk about the quickie. When you have a quickie, and if you have a male partner and they bump the cervix, that's how you know your body's not ready, right? Because he's like, bam, yeah, I made it. And you're like, get up about 2 inches. Thank you very much, right? But that is our body's way of going, you're not ready. No. You are not ready. You're dry, which we're going to talk about why that's a bad thing, right, Amber Taylor?
Oh, heck yeah. That is like a no in my books. Like, that cannot happen.
Absolutely not. The weather is better. We'll talk about that.
Right?
But it is about intercourse, but it is also about outer course, right? So it's about what we do prior, and it is called foreplay for a reason. So making sure that your body and your mind, again, are in the right place, and foreplay is going to do that for you. Now, what can foreplay look like, Amber? What are we talking about?
Honestly, one of the number one forms of foreplay, massage.
Yes.
It is. It's that, that starting point. Add some touch. Your skin, largest organ, like it's that erogenous zone, and it's all over your body, right?
100%. And I also want to add in there your brain. Your brain is the biggest sex organ that you own. It is yours. What happens in there is all for you. It does not matter what you think about. This is for you. But if it gets you to where you want to go, you're in good shape. So your brain is your biggest sex organ. And one of my mentors once told me that foreplay starts in the morning. So it's not something that happens just before. It's a feeling, it's a sensation. And before we even get to the physical act of foreplay, we have to engage the brain.
Absolutely. And you can disengage the brain in the moment. Like, it's so quick that it happens. So adding something like that massage and getting that, tone going, starting some music, starting maybe lighting a candle, turning down the lights. These are things that really get that foreplay started. And then, of course, with the right tools or your hands, you could venture off and really start a little teasing in the middle of that massage.
Absolutely. Right. And I don't want to underestimate or undervalue nipple play. Nipple play brings in natural moisture inside the vagina. It does something to the brain. It helps everything sort of come together, literally. It just really puts everything into perspective, and not just for female partners, for male partners as well. Everybody's nipples do like a different sensation. So you do want to be checking in if you are providing nipple play for somebody else, but nipple play is a big damn deal. I don't know why we don't talk about that enough either.
No. And I mean, nipple clamps, as much as people think like, ooh, I don't think so. You really gotta, look into these things, because a little bit of pressure, not a lot, can just be that turning point.
Totally. And
it doesn't have to be rough.
We have our bosom buddy. So if you're not looking for a clamp specifically, you can start with just nipple sensation with our bosom buddy, which draws all the blood to the surface. And that alone is going to sort of amp things up. And then if you were to add a nipple clamp on top of that, the magic of the nipple clamp really is when the blood rushes back in when you release the nipple. That's where all that tingling and sensation starts. And when that happens, boom, everything else is ready really quickly.
Absolutely. And here's a really important thing. And I tell my clients this all the time. About 14 minutes of foreplay is what you need. That's so right. If you need to set an egg timer, don't do that. But
it's like I sneak it in, right? I sneak it, put that bosom buddy on, because it works great on your lips as well. So put it on your lips and your nips. That is 3 places. Tell your partner it's on 4 or 5. Have them hunt and peck in until they find 4 and 5. And then your body is going to be ready. So that gives you that, you sneak in that foreplay. Now, let's not forget to talk about oral play.
No, that's really important. And some people, not all, love oral play. Others may not love oral play, or they may like giving versus receiving, or vice versa. And none of it's wrong or right. Yeah. So whatever you and your partner like, but communicate with your partner. That is really important. Communicate with them what you like, what they might like, what you might not be willing to do, what they're willing to do. But definitely oral play with some kind of flavored edible can really help the experience.
It sure can. It sure can. You are absolutely right about checking in with your partner, because everybody likes something different. So you just got to figure it out. But again, it's one of those things where oral play, when you're receiving or giving, it can affect your body as well. And I just think that sometimes people don't recognize how much of a, not just a turn on it can be, but how sometimes people get distracted too. They start thinking they can do something like 69. And I appreciate all those 69 lovers, but I don't know who's concentrating in that position, because it ain't me. So we talk about that sometimes at my parties. It's like, do you like that? What do you concentrate on? I feel like you're so busy doing the job at hand. So again, if that's not your yum, don't worry about it. Just because the world says 69 is the oral position doesn't mean that you have to participate in that. Figure it out. Figure out what you like and what positions that help you get in the mood better, because it's different for everybody.
Right. And I mean, the importance of foreplay too, we keep talking about getting ready, but what is it that we're getting ready for, Vicki? What does our body have to do to get ready? Because I think that people might be listening going, okay, great, 14 minutes, but why am I doing this for 14 minutes? And what am I getting ready for?
Totally. So what happens is the more foreplay for people who have a vagina is that your vaginal canal elongates, the more foreplay you receive. And of course, that is helping your body prepare. So as we talked about before, your partner or your toy isn't bumping your cervix, which isn't very comfortable. So the body is actually preparing itself for penetration, which is an absolute organic thing that just happens. And we have to allow ourselves that time.
Also, don't forget about lubricant. Lubricant's super important, and not just for intercourse. You want that for foreplay. And we have some awesome flavored lubricants that are fabulous for any oral play, but any kind of friction, whether you're using a toy, your fingers, whatever you're using, even for clitoral stimulation, penile stimulation, whatever you're using, really important, because that friction can cause irritation. And then that kind of takes you back a few steps and you're like, ooh, that doesn't feel good. And now you got to start over.
It's kind of a conductor too of vibration. So if the more lubricated you are, the better it is. Should we talk about the opening of the vagina?
Yeah.
We should. All right. So let's do it. Another reason why lubrication is so important during foreplay and intercourse, of course, is that this is a muscle. The opening of the vagina is a muscle. So you want to be really conscious of making sure that you're not going in dry. I always say it doesn't matter what you're putting inside there. It can be a tampon, ladies. Don't let it drag. All right. Put a dab of lubricant on there. Use that. All right. So I just think it's so important to remember that you don't want to be creating any kind of micro tears, any kind of abrasions here. This is a muscle. So you don't want this muscle to have scar tissue, because scar tissue doesn't have any sensitivity. That sounds like it's pretty counterintuitive.
That is so important, so important. So wetter is better. And that's not just a phrase we use.
That's true. There is real science behind that, I swear.
Right. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. This was great. I hope you enjoyed it. And, I look forward to next week. Woo-woo.
Yeah.